Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, you're already thinking about work, the emails, the deadlines, your manager, that meeting, that one message you received yesterday that you can't stop thinking about. And suddenly, you realize something uncomfortable. Your workday hasn't even started, but your mind is already exhausted. Maybe you're becoming more impatient. Maybe small problems at work are starting to feel huge. Maybe you feel guilty when you take a break. Maybe you're constantly checking your phone because you're afraid your boss might need something. Or maybe you come home from work physically present, but mentally, you're still at the office. And this is where many people make a dangerous mistake. They assume they just need to work harder. They tell themselves, it's just a busy season. Everyone feels stressed. I'll feel better after this project. But sometimes, the problem isn't that you're not strong enough to handle your job. The problem is that you've never learned how to protect yourself from the parts of work that slowly drain you. Today, we're going through 15 things you must do to protect your mental health at work. And stay until the end, because the final few are the ones that can completely change the way you experience your job. And if you want more videos about workplace, psychology, career growth, office politics, and money, subscribe to Farhan Explains Work and Money. Let's get started. The first thing you need to do is separate who you are from what you do for a living. Your job is something you do. It is not the complete definition of who you are. But when your career becomes your identity, every workplace problem starts feeling personal. A bad performance review doesn't just feel like criticism. It feels like you're a failure. A missed promotion doesn't feel like a career setback. It feels like you're not good enough. And when your identity is connected to your job, you become emotionally dependent on your employer's approval. That's dangerous, because companies can change, managers can change, departments can disappear, jobs can be eliminated. But your identity needs to be bigger than your job title. You're a person before you're an employee. So build a life outside work. Have interests, spend time with people, learn things that have nothing to do with your career. Because when work becomes only one part of your life, workplace problems become easier to put into perspective. The second rule is simple. You don't have to say yes to everything. Many employees become mentally exhausted because they're afraid of disappointing people. So they say, yes, another task, yes, another meeting, yes, another deadline, yes, can you stay late, yes, and eventually, everyone thinks you're available all the time. The problem isn't that you're helpful. The problem is that your unlimited availability becomes your new normal. Instead, learn to say, I can take this on, but I'll need to move another priority. That's a professional boundary. You're not refusing to work. You're communicating capacity. And here's something important. Being helpful doesn't mean being endlessly available. Your time has limits, your energy has limits, your attention has limits. Protect them. If your workday technically ends at 5, but you're checking emails at 7, answering messages at 9, and thinking about tomorrow at 11, then your workday never really ended. Your body may have left the office, but your brain didn't. That's why you need a clear stopping point. When your workday is finished, create a simple shutdown routine. Close your laptop. Put your work phone away if possible. Write down tomorrow's priorities. Then mentally tell yourself, work is done for today. This may sound simple. Your brain needs signals that the workday is over. Without that separation, work slowly follows you into dinner, family time, hobbies, and sleep. And eventually, you feel like you're working all day, even when you're technically not. This one is difficult, but incredibly important. Not every workplace problem is about you. Your manager might be stressed. The company might be going through financial pressure. A project might have unrealistic deadlines. A coworker might be dealing with their own problems. A short email doesn't automatically mean someone is angry with you. A delayed response doesn't automatically mean you're in trouble, and criticism doesn't automatically mean you're incompetent. Before reacting emotionally, ask yourself, what do I actually know? And what am I assuming? That question can save you a tremendous amount of unnecessary stress. Because sometimes, the story in your head is much worse than the reality. Have you ever received a message from your manager that simply said, "Can we talk?" And suddenly your brain creates 10 different scenarios? Did I do something wrong? Am I getting fired? Did someone complain about me? This is workplace anxiety creating a story before you have the facts. Don't let a two-line message control your entire afternoon. Read what was actually written. Don't add meaning that isn't there. And if something is unclear, ask. Sometimes the healthiest response is simply, "Could you clarify what you'd like to discuss?" You don't need to become a mind reader. You need to become comfortable with uncertainty. Some employees treat breaks like they're committing a crime. They eat lunch at their desk. They skip vacations. They feel guilty stepping away for 10 minutes. And they think this proves they're dedicated. It doesn't. Your brain isn't a machine that can operate at maximum capacity indefinitely. Breaks allow you to reset your attention. So stop thinking, "I'm wasting time." Instead, think, "I'm protecting the quality of my work." A short break can help you return with more focus and patience. You don't need to earn the right to rest. You're human. Your body often notices stress before your mind admits it. Maybe you become unusually irritated. Maybe you're constantly tired. Maybe you can't concentrate. Maybe you keep checking your work messages. Maybe you stop enjoying things you normally enjoy. These signals matter. Don't wait until you're completely burned out before paying attention. Start noticing patterns. Ask yourself, what happens to me when work stress becomes too high? Once you recognize your personal warning signs, you can respond earlier. And early action is almost always easier than trying to recover after you've pushed yourself too far. Every workplace has drama. Someone doesn't like someone. Someone is complaining about management. Someone is starting a rumor. Someone wants you to take sides. And if you're not careful, you can become part of conflicts that have nothing to do with your career. You don't have to participate in every conversation. You don't have to have an opinion about every disagreement. Sometimes the smartest response is, "I don't know enough about the situation to comment." Stay professional, stay focused, and be careful about becoming emotionally invested in workplace drama, because today's gossip can become tomorrow's evidence against you. Here's a powerful question. If Europe disappeared tomorrow, what would still be left? Your family, your friends, your hobbies, your skills, your goals, your interests? If the answer is almost nothing, that's a warning sign. A healthy life needs multiple sources of meaning. Your career can be important, but it shouldn't be your only source of purpose. When you build a life outside work, you become less emotionally dependent on what happens inside the office. A difficult day at work becomes a difficult day, not a difficult life. One of the fastest ways to destroy your peace is to constantly compare your career to other people. Your coworker got promoted. Someone younger became a manager. Someone on LinkedIn bought a house. Someone you started with is earning more than you. And suddenly, you feel behind. But here's the problem. You're comparing your entire reality to someone else's highlight reel. You don't know their full situation. You don't know their sacrifices. You don't know their financial obligations. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. Your career doesn't need to follow someone else's timeline. Ask a better question. Am I moving in the direction I actually want? That's the comparison that matters. Protecting your mental health isn't only about emotions. Sometimes it's about reducing uncertainty. If important expectations are discussed verbally, follow up with a simple written message. For example, just confirming what we discussed. I'll complete X by Friday and then move on to Y. Why does this help? Because uncertainty creates stress. When expectations are clear, your mind has less to worry about. And documentation can also protect you if there is ever confusion about responsibilities, deadlines, or decisions. You don't need to document every conversation, just the important ones. Clarity creates peace. This is one of the hardest lessons in professional life. You cannot make everyone happy. If you prioritize one person, another person may be disappointed. If you say no to one request, someone may not like it. If you set boundaries, some people may call you difficult. That's okay. Your goal isn't to be liked by everyone. Your goal is to be professional, reliable, respectful, and clear. There is a huge difference between being a good employee and being an employee who needs constant approval. The second one is exhausting. So stop asking, how do I make everyone happy? Start asking, what is the right thing to do here? That shift can dramatically reduce workplace stress. This may sound like a career tip, but it's also a mental health tip. When you believe you have absolutely no options, every workplace problem feels bigger. A difficult manager feels terrifying. A bad project feels impossible. A potential layoff feels like the end of the world. But when you have options, your mind feels safer. Build your emergency fund. Keep your resume updated. Develop valuable skills. Maintain professional relationships. Know what opportunities exist in your industry. You don't need to quit your job. You simply need to know. If something changes, I have options. That belief alone can reduce the feeling of being trapped. Now, we need to talk about something uncomfortable. Sometimes the solution isn't another productivity trick. Sometimes the environment itself is unhealthy. If you're constantly being humiliated, if boundaries are repeatedly ignored, if expectations are impossible, if you're constantly afraid, if you're being pressured to compromise your values, if your work is affecting every part of your life, don't automatically blame yourself. Ask, is this a temporary difficult period, or is this the culture? That's an important difference. Every job has stressful periods, but if the stress is constant and the environment repeatedly damages your well-being, you may need to consider bigger changes, and that doesn't necessarily mean quitting tomorrow. It means becoming honest about the situation. And finally, the most important rule: don't wait until you're completely exhausted before taking your mental health seriously. Most people don't suddenly wake up one morning and become burned out. It often happens gradually. One late night, one missed break, one stressful project, one toxic conversation, one more weekends spent catching up. And eventually, you realize, I don't feel like myself anymore. That's why protection has to happen before the crisis. Set boundaries. Take breaks. Separate work from home. Maintain relationships outside work. Build financial options. Learn to say no. And most importantly, pay attention to how your job is affecting you. Your career matters. Your income matters. Your success matters. But none of those things are worth destroying yourself for. Because the goal isn't simply to survive your career. The goal is to build a career that fits into a healthy life. So let's quickly recap. Protecting your mental health at work means don't make your job your identity. Don't say yes to everything. Create a real stopping time. Don't personalize every workplace problem. Stop overthinking every message. Take your breaks. Recognize your stress signals. Stay away from unnecessary office drama. Build a life outside work. Stop comparing your career. Did you document important conversations? Stop trying to please everyone. Create a plan B. Know when the environment itself is the problem. And most importantly, protect yourself before you're forced to, because your job is supposed to support your life, not consume it. And if this video made you realize that work has been taking more from you than you thought, you're not alone. Subscribe to Farhan Explains Work and Money for more videos about workplace psychology, career growth, money, and the hidden rules of work. And remember, your career is important, but your life outside your career matters too. I'll see you in the next video.